Is this the car that can show that electric hot hatches are really fun to drive? This is the Alpine A290 and looks very nice. We have these very cool rally style fog lights. And if we come to the side, we can see we have big arches, which we love. I really love a car with big arches. We have this hint here to the Renault 5 Turbo 2 from previous. And then we have these small French accents. We have these very cool 3D tail lights as well. Quite a good booth, but yeah, let's go and drive it. So yeah, the Alpine A290e, we're driving the GT version right now, and Alpine have set it up quite easily for everyone to understand. You have the A290, then you have the GT, GT Performance or GT Premium, and then you have the GTS, which has both performance and premium trims. So we start off with 180 horsepower engine, electric engine at the front, and a big battery in the middle. Sadly, we don't have the electric engine in the rear, which I would have hoped for, but that's only reserved for the Renault R5 Turbo 3E, which incidentally, this also sits on the R5 platform, but yeah, a lot has been done to it. We're right now in the GT Performance, which means we have cloth seats like we have in the GT, but instead of 180 horsepower, we now have 220 horsepower. If we go up to a GTS, then we'll also get, or if you go to a GT Premium, you'll get 180 horsepower, but you'll get full leather interior, and it's a really, really good leather. It's actually, I think it's close to what BMW used to offer in Mini, but these days they're not. So it's a premium, it's a performance product, and it's a really fun thing to drive, honestly. We've been driving it for quite some time now, and the steering, it's super light. On the steering wheel you have these buttons here, which they can select the drive mode. Right now we're in saving, but we'll go into sport. It'll pick up quite fast. We have all these gamification inside the car, which it could lose your license or gain you a lot of range, actually, because we have challenges based on agility, power, and endurance. I've been doing a few. I've been doing some in the agility because you can pull some Gs, but some they're not as easy as you would think, because some, they're like, okay, you have to pull this amount of G, but you can't interfere with the stability control. And then you also have endurance, and in endurance we have like master of consumption, and you have to get 7.5 kilowatt hours in 50 kilometers within the hour, which it is quite difficult to manage. But I've done it. I've done 7.1, which is really, really cool. It's things like this that it's not like just any other EV. And then traffic comes up in front of us, put the recharge on full, get slowed down, harvest all of the energy back into the battery, and then we can tweak it a little bit so it doesn't go back as violently. There's a lot of stuff here, and it's a really cool thing. It handles beautifully. It rides on the new Michelin Pilot Sport S5. It's a bespoke. This one is a bespoke tire for the Alpine, so it has the A29 on it. Very cool. And the thing also is the steering is very light, which helps hide some of the weight a battery electric car has. But it's just very direct, and I haven't had a lot of cars these days that feel this direct. Even though it's a very light steering wheel and you have to get used to it a little bit, it works very good. And as I said, I've talked about the recharge button. When you want to go for the overtake on someone, you have this very cool red button here just on the side of the steering wheel. You push it and you unleash all of the power that's on demand for, I think, at least 10 seconds. It goes really, really quickly. It's a very, very good car. It handles so beautifully, and this is what I think electric cars were made to do. I would like to have a little bit more of an aggressive regen on the max, so you can really go full out, and then it feels like it's almost like braking. Similarly to what the first generation Mini SE would do, it would be really violent on the recharge, and you could basically use it like a trail brake. So you can really use the front to push into the tarmac and then get some crazy corner speeds out of it. It's so fun, but this is what I mean. Electric cars are built for this. They're very fun to drive. They have very low center of gravity. They're very nippy. Everything just works. I have 300 Newton meters of torque. I have a range of about 300 kilometers realistically. So I'm not quoting the figure that's on the brochure. I'm telling you 300 is what I've got out of the car. And yeah, it's really, really solid. 300 is more than enough for like your day-to-day and like going to the beach on a weekend. Fast charging, it's not the fastest thing around. I did a fast charge and I topped out at about 100 kilowatts, which, yeah, it's a small battery, so you can't push in the high numbers that you see like the Lotus Eletre or the Audi RS e-tron. Just such a nimble car. It's a very cool car. I really like the full design. Everything feels really solid. The only thing I'm a bit iffy about is the volume here. Maybe it should have been on the side or somewhere else, because for the passenger it's not very useful. If you're used to Renault, then you know volume sits behind the steering wheel on this stalk. Works very well. I do think the end with the volume control, it used to be better operated in the past, but the buttons, they feel really nice. In the center console, we have our drive, neutral, and reverse. All looks really nice. We have a spot for our key. The key is a little bit of a weird thing, but it's a bit what Renault has been doing for the last couple of years. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It feels a little bit like it's an oversized card. I like a nicely designed key, and this isn't it, but they did provide it with a nice spot to sit in, so that's very good from Renault or Alpine. It's the basic chassis, so you're going to have some similarities, but essentially there's not a lot. Everything from the chassis is new, so we have new suspension. It's stiffer sprung, but it's still very comfortable. We have bigger wheels, super nice rims. I really like these that are on there, and you can get them optionally with like an aero blade that can pop on. So essentially you have like 2-for-1 wheels. If you're buying one, I think the aero blades are a really standout feature on this car. And yeah, just in general, the design of this, with it being so similar to the R5, the response of it has been overly positive. Everyone's loving it. And when you couple the retro design to an interior that is amazingly fun to be in, I mean, what more do you want from a car? I don't think a lot of us petrol heads, they're the biggest fans of electric cars, but when they're done right, I can really appreciate them. And I could see if you're not doing too much kilometers from day to day, then this is a perfect car just for you. If you're doing a little bit more, but you have the wife that needs a smaller car, this is a great second car to own, because frankly, even the pricing point of this is we have a very good range. We have a very premium interior, and all of this can be had for under 40,000 euros, which is really competitive in the electric market, or I feel like it's very competitive in the electric market of today. The only thing that I do think that's missing, but apparently there's some accessories coming for it, is a cup holder. There's no space anywhere really to put a bottle, not even in the door cars, because they're very low down. And they're very narrow, so I don't think they would fit. Maybe here, but your phone's already here. But there's going to be an accessory that will clip onto the side, And then you can have a bottle similarly to what BMW did in, I believe, the E8X series, 1 series. If you're getting one, maybe get the cup holder as well. It's nice to have a bottle of water for some longer journeys. But overall, what Alpine and Renault have done, I believe, is a really, really clever thing, because we've driven the Mini before. We haven't released a review, but maybe we will drop one soon for you to have the comparison, because essentially this is what is going to be standing up to. It's going to be standing up to the Mini SE or the SE JCW. And I believe it has similar range and it's a little bit cheaper, but the interior is so much nicer. I think really Mini, they missed the mark on the new interior. It looks futuristic and really sustainable and this and that, but some things feel like they haven't been thought through too much, and essentially as a cabin it's way... And just to have a bit more fun, we're going to drive it a little bit on a few twisty roads, and it sticks and it corners so flat. It's really, really lovely. The way it picks up, it does torque zero a little bit, so once you're going on to the accelerator, you should pay attention to that, but yeah, you can really just throw it in. Traction control will keep you in a little bit in check, but the steering wheel is super darty, super nice. Yeah, and especially combined with these challenges, maybe you could get in some trouble, but yeah, keep it safe. That's it's even like the higher speed stuff. It's really nice. The steering wheel just feels very connected to the front, something I haven't felt in a long time on cars, as I've said before, and it just works very well. And on the brakes, it's really nice on the brakes as well. Also, if you're going into the live data, it's really cool. You have these track settings, and then you also have actually brake temperatures, and if they're too cold, if they're just right. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's amazing how much data they are cramming into this, and yeah. Honestly, I think this, if you're looking for something that's small within this budget and it's electric, this is the car to buy. I don't know what else you're getting. I'm normally a big fan of Mini, but I think they really lacked on delivering, especially on the interior side, and considering the price point, this is what you want. So I'm very interested to see what you hear. So I'm very interested to see how you like the A290. Do you think it looks good? Do you think it's a miss? Let us know in the comments and we'll chat there further. See you. Bye.